Carl Jung made a chilling discovery about narcissists, something most people never notice until it's too late. When they realize they've lost control over you, they don't just let go. They strike back with one final manipulation so powerful, it can undo years of healing in just a few short weeks. And if you don't recognize it for what it is, you'll walk straight into the trap. But before we uncover this final trick, you need to understand the mental warfare that leads up to it. Jung believed the biggest fear narcissists have isn't being rejected or abandoned, it's losing psychological control. Specifically, the moment their victim becomes mentally and emotionally stronger than them. In his work on the shadow self, Jung explained that narcissists survive by pushing their own weakness onto others so they can keep up the illusion of strength. But when you start healing, when you draw the line and stop playing their game, everything begins to shift. Jung called this moment the power inversion crisis. What happens next is something most people never see coming. See, narcissists aren't just looking to be loved. They're searching for control. They want someone they can feed off emotionally. Jung described them as living through an inflated ego, a fragile state where they constantly need to assert dominance to avoid facing their inner emptiness. Back when you were lost, insecure, or desperate for their approval, you fit perfectly into that role. You validated them. But the second you stop seeking their acceptance and start trusting yourself, you turn into a threat. And that's when they play their most dangerous card. Jung found that when narcissists sense they're losing their grip, they go beyond gaslighting or playing the victim. They use something much more destructive: psychological projection warfare. They start attacking the strength you've built, your healing, your growth, your independence. It becomes their new target. Think back, they used to pick on your weaknesses. Now they flip it. Jung explained this shift happens because they realize your strength is what's protecting you from being controlled. So, they say things like, "You've changed and, not in a good way," or "You used to be so thoughtful. Now, you're just selfish." Maybe even, "You've become so full of yourself." But here's what makes this especially dangerous. It's not random. Jung said they're deliberately going after the parts of you you're proudest of. If you've become better at saying no, they'll call you cold. If you've finally found your voice, they'll say you're too aggressive. If you've built confidence, they'll label you arrogant. Jung called this strength shaming. It's designed to make you doubt and feel guilty about the very things that made you stronger. But it doesn't stop there. If strength shaming fails, narcissists escalate again to something even more twisted. Jung called this next move nostalgic manipulation. When they can't shame your strength, they try to pull you back into your old self, the version of you they could easily control. You'll hear them say things like, "Remember when you used to laugh at my jokes?" Or "You used to be happier before you got into all that self-help stuff," or "I miss the old you." But don't be fooled. They're not longing for the real you, they're craving the version of you that let them call the shots. And if you're not careful, you'll start missing that version too. But there's one final move, and it's the most dangerous of them all. If nostalgia doesn't work, narcissists will hit you with what Jung called manufactured vulnerability. He found that narcissists are experts at using your deepest compassion against you. Just when you've built yourself up, they suddenly become fragile, struggling. In crisis, they'll tell you they're sick, broke, heartbroken, dealing with drama. And it will all happen right as you're stepping into your power. Coincidence, Jung said. No, it's calculated. Narcissists track everything about you. What makes you feel responsible? What triggers your guilt? What tugs at your heart? Then, they weaponize that empathy against your progress. Here's the part that's truly disturbing. Jung revealed that narcissists often create these crises themselves. They'll sabotage their health, wreck their own relationships, cause to draw you back in. Why? Because they want you to play the rescuer again. And more than anything, they want proof that they still have influence over you. But Jung found something even darker. It's not just about pulling you in, It's about breaking down the very boundaries that made you strong. You'll hear lines like, "I know you don't usually loan money, but this is different." Or, "I know you needed space, but I really need you right now." Every "just this once" is a slow erosion of your growth. They don't want your support. They want you to choose them over your own healing. And if you say yes, if you let that door crack open, Jung warned, you'll lose everything you fought to build. Because narcissists are smart. Sometimes their crisis is real, but they'll choose exactly when and how to present it. They could go to anyone, but they pick you, because they know you care enough to drop your guard. So, how do you protect yourself? Jung taught that the answer lies in what he called differentiated compassion. You can care without being responsible. You can feel for someone and still choose yourself. He wrote, "The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are." And when a narcissist tries to drag you back into their chaos, even in crisis, you have to ask yourself, is helping them helping me become more of who I'm meant to be? Or is it pulling me away from that? Jung's last insight will change how you view every toxic dynamic. Narcissists don't fear losing youth. They fear what your strength says about what they could have become. They chose control. You chose growth. And when you refuse to shrink just to keep them comfortable, you're doing more than protecting yourself. You're showing them what freedom really looks like. That's why they'll keep trying. Because every time you say no to the guilt, to the manipulation, to the fake emergencies, every time you stay true to yourself, you prove they never actually had power over you. Jung said true strength isn't about being untouched by manipulation. It's about seeing it, naming it, and still choosing your truth. Their final move only works if you forget who you are. But once you understand what it really is, just a desperate last attempt to hold on, you realize something. Their need to control you. It's actually a sign that you've already broken free. The moment you stop being easy to control is the moment you start truly living. And no crisis, no matter how urgent or emotional, is worth giving that freedom up. Thank you for sticking with me through this journey. If this message resonated, hit subscribe and share this with someone who needs to hear it.